Friday. Last class of Foundation series. And theoretically, then everybody coming in today will be able to play like mad demons. So let's hope that that's true. Paste. Hopefully I taught you something. Today is lesson 30, or the last lesson in the Foundation series, which means that we will be playing Scarborough Fair and Aloha Oi. And because of the weirdness of the week, we added in America and America the Beautiful as well, so that we can have a full amount of songs to play today. And let me make sure that this is working properly on our website so that people can come in here. And we'll take note of who skips their final exam today. You ever did that? I did that with, back in college, I took a guitar class, pass-fail. And as long as you attended all of the lessons, you passed. But they did recommend you do a final performance of what you had learned, and they had a jury and all thing like that. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to that. So I didn't even tell her I wasn't coming. I just didn't go. That was not a cool thing to do at all. Website's jollyrogerukulele.com. Hopefully you already know that it exists and that you are already doing everything on Jolly Roger Ukulele. It's a way to play ukulele the hard way and to make yourself a better musician and all that good stuff. Let me put this picture onto the Twitter and blink. Done. All right, Twitter's done. You know, the word free doesn't really capture anyone's imagination anymore, does it? Everything's free until it's not free. All right. Hey, Linda, final exam. Yeah. Linda's in from Colorado Springs. We're having a beautiful day here in Colorado. A little sultry, as we like to say it out here in Denver. We probably have 6% humidity, and we're like, ugh. It's really sweaty out there. Today we're doing the Make a Better Bar worksheet, Aloha Oi, Scarborough Fair, America, and America the Beautiful as our wrap-up. And then that way everybody knows kind of where they're at in terms of their overall progression. And we'll see how everybody's playing. And then I'll give you some thoughts about where you've been and where you're headed. And so I'd like to get started. Let's see, it's 12:05. Let's go ahead and do our Make a Better Bar worksheet. Let's get that one done right off the bat. Make a Better Bar, baritone, doesn't matter. All right, we didn't do it last week because we didn't meet last week on Friday, so it feels like a long time since we've done it. Again, with the Make a Better Bar worksheet, I do recommend you do it every day as part of your tune the instrument and then run your bar up and down there. It'll make your bars much stronger, much better. I do think it's I came up with this exercise many years ago. It's the only exercise that I teach religiously, so I do think it's that important, right? To get your bars strong and clean. So from the top, I got a baritone in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change the pattern. There's the baritone version. It sounds nice, doesn't it? Sounds really pretty and peaceful. The nice part about that, I'm teaching these fingers to do thumb, index, middle, ring, and then I'm teaching them to do ring, middle, index, thumb, and I'm teaching this hand to have a nice clean bar and a nice strong muscle there on my thumb, and theoretically That's making me a better player. Changes in humidity here in Colorado. My instruments are like, what are you doing? And they don't like it. From the top, on ukulele, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boy, I was having a heck of a time on that top string, getting that to come out clear. Yeah, it happens, right? Day to day, every day is a little different. Let's play Aloha Oi on ukulele. Grab your ukulele version of that. Aloha, Aloha Oi ukulele. There we go. Oh, let's see. Michelle made it in. Cloudy up in Rockaway Beach. Final exam day. You should be nervous. No, you don't need to be nervous, right? We at this point you have figured out. You found me. Thanks, Mary. It was like, oh yeah, I put that whole list of next week's schedule on there. Plus, there's going to be a whole nother week on there too. I'm trying to plan. The next few weeks will be confusing as to where you're supposed to be when, especially you guys, because your class is disappearing. So, but I got plenty to keep you busy. Don't fret. Okay, let's play Aloha Oi. And again, final exam, right? You're supposed to be nervous, but you're not nervous, right? You know what you can do and what you can't do at this point. And we'll talk about how today goes and all that sort of thing prior to you getting out of here. All right, Aloha Oi. One shot, best shot. Take your time. 1, 2, 3. beautiful piece of music. Again, right? You're sort of assessing, hey, I was playing tough yuccas. If I was able to keep up, you're killing it. Don't think that that's not nothing. That's a big deal, right? If you were like, oh, it's a little fast, I went ahead and switched over to melody. Here again, very smart musicianship. That's what you're supposed to do. If you were playing chords, were they coming out clean? Were you able to be on the beat, the first beat of each chord? It goes all the way back to day 2, right, where we're talking about get off of the current chord and onto the next chord so that you're ready on beat 1 of that chord. All right, let's try it on the baritone. Let me pull up the baritone music real quick. Should be the same. And let's see, Jan made it in. A little late here, having a bad allergy or a cold, right? May just listen to it. Yeah, I've started my annual allergy pill routine. It's especially here in Denver where we're finally seeing a ton of things blooming, and it's like, blech, blech. Let's see. Rob made it in. 72 and beautiful down in Texas. Unusually cool, right? Yeah. Going to rain for about 4 days, though. Well, you'll take the rain, probably, huh? You had some pretty crummy weather this whole year, Rob. What the heck is going on down there? All right. Baritone version, ukulele players, remember your E chord is a bar on 4. If you put an F shape in front of that bar, it becomes an A. And if you slide back to bar on 2 and put your middle finger on the 3rd string of the 3rd fret, you'll get your B7. From the top, 1, 2, 3. I really like that song. I really think that's lovely. All right. Hey, Q's in the house as well. Good to see you, Q. All right. So again, you're sort of assessing yourself, saying, yeah, not too hard, made some sense, have no idea what he just played, wherever you're at, right? Trying to figure out what's going to be the next steps for you. Now, I know what your next steps are for the next 2 weeks, but then we'll talk about after that what it's looking like. Let's go grab Scarborough Fair. This is a much tougher group of songs this week than we've played in any of the previous classes, just to give you a little bit of a taste of what Book 2 is going to feel like. Scarborough Fair, let's do the baritone version first. Let's see, Q, is this to the same tune as Oh My Soul, My Savior? No, it's not. I know why. I absolutely know the song you're talking about, Q. I grew up going to church with my mom, and yeah, we did that song a lot. But it does have that kind of reverential feeling to it, especially played at that speed. So yeah, I could see where you might be thinking, yep, that's the same tune. No, it is a different tune, but there are moments in it that I definitely can see the comparison. So nice job. Okay. Scarborough Fair on baritone. Ukulele players, remember your D minor is here, your C of course is here, your F chord is here. Okay, so pretty likable group of chords for you. Baritone players, let's see if we can get this tough uke knocked out, or at least the melody. Let's just, because we have stuff to talk about, one time through. Make it perfect the very first time. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Sounds pretty nice on this baritone, doesn't it? This baritone's starting to come around. Right, somebody who lives in Denver should come on over and pick that thing up. It's beautiful. All right. Seems I have managed to get this thing in a knot again. This is what I do is with chords. Continuously have them set up wrong. All right, let's grab the big ukulele version of this one. See how it comes up. Scarborough Fair ukulele style. Again, one time through, see what you can do to get it as close to exact as possible. And we'll go nice and slow. Baritone players, your G minor is right here. Dun, 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 dun. Your F, of course, is that crummy bar chord you got to deal with. And your C, of course, looks like our F chord. Okay, so let's see how we do on this one. Nice and slow, just like we did. One time through. Whatever happens, happens. And remember, skip measure 17 and 18 and play 19 and 20 instead. 1, 2, 3. Jeez, that's pretty hard to play on this guy. Good. All right, there's Scarborough Fair. Again, assessing how's that feeling. Did you, whether you played it well or not is less important than if you knew what you were supposed to play. When you knew, I know what I'm supposed to play. I'm just not playing it right now. That's what you want to get to. Okay, let's go grab America. Get this one knocked out. We studied this one yesterday, so it's brand new. L. We get too many songs. America, ukulele. There we go. All right. Again, let's just do it one time through. Okay, because I want to reserve just a little bit of time to give you a pep talk. The last day of foundations can be kind of like, I don't know, right? All right, so let's play it this way. Just one time through and see how you did. We studied this yesterday, so you should be in good shape. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Did it make sense on your instrument? Did you get it close? Again, book 2 song, right? So the reason this would magically, instantaneously be put into book 2 is that B flat down there at measure 13. And you're like, what? The B flat's here, but it's saying to go up here and do it. That's not something we talk about in foundations class very much. We really talk about it in book 2 all of the time, where the chord, the picture of the chord and the tough uke appear to not be related, but what's happened is the melody's moved up the neck, so the chord has to move up the neck, which means it gets a different shape. Let's go grab the America for baritone. Let's see how it sounds on that. Ukulele players, these are your chords, right? C, G, 7, A minor, and F. So I would like you to play along. Probably just one beautiful strum per beat, something like that. Baritone players, let's see what we can do with this. 1, 2, 3. America. There we go. Not pretty far away from being one of my favorite songs. Let's do a little bit better version of America. Let's do America the Beautiful on baritone. America the Beautiful with baritone. All right. Let's actually do 2 times through. Okay, this will give you a chance to fix your mistakes. 2 times through from the top, 3 beat count in, and ukulele players, you got G chord, D chord, A minor, D7. Oh, and you have your E7. That's the one we learned on day 2. You have an A chord in here. So a little bit busy. Got a G7 in there. So do what you can with it, ukulele players. Okay. And baritone players, let's make this really a happening thing. 2 times through, guys. 1, 2, 3. All right, and now your final song before we have a little conversation about what you've learned, what I think you learned, where you're playing, and all that sort of stuff, and your future in ukulele. I always like to leave just a little bit of time at the end of the last lesson just to sort of chat about options going forward. So America the Beautiful on ukulele is your swan song for the foundations, and let's see how we do. All right, from the top, 2 times through, 3 beat count in, and let's see how we do. 1, 2, 3. Top. Right? Beautiful. All right, let's see. Saw some stuff happening over here on the. Sometimes as I'm playing, I start seeing the chat bar scrolling. I'm like, uh-oh, did something terrible just happen? No, good. And getting better at making bars. Mary says I'm getting better at making bars. Guys, making bars. Let's talk about that. If you take a normal ukulele class, the only bar you end up dealing with is B flat, and it makes you sad and makes you quit. Right? You guys get bars as instrumentalists right from the very beginning, you're going to get better at it much faster than other players will get at, because it's simply part of what you do as an instrumentalist. You have to do your bars. You're going to sound terrible in the beginning. They're going to get better. They're going to get better, and then one day they're going to be fine. But we're waiting on this muscle to develop. We're waiting on you to just sort of get comfy, laying the thing on and getting it on tight enough. We're waiting on a whole bunch of physical stuff that needs to happen before it's really perfect, and I wouldn't lose sleep over it. If your bars are sound like that, as long as you know you have the right thing on, the right shape on, it doesn't matter if they sound like this or they sound like this. It really doesn't matter. There comes a day when it sounds like that almost all the time. I still have plenty of occasions where I'm like, crud, and I just move on, right? It happens. I think don't stress yourself out about bars. They do come together. I've only had one student who took her 3 years to get her bars together, but she got it together, right? And she just kept working on them. And but she's really the exception. Most everybody, if you'll keep showing up, your bar will come together without you losing too much sleep over it. So yeah, so know that's something. I'm excited that Mary's bars are coming together. Right, they're starting to feel a little better, more natural. The nice part about bars, and we'll do a bar chord workshop this summer, like I do every year. Once your bar chords come together, you only have 10 chords after that. So in other words, if I'm playing this chord, which is a C on this instrument, when I add a bar, it becomes a C sharp, becomes a D, becomes a D sharp, or an E flat, becomes an E, an F, F sharp, G, and occasionally I've even used it as an A chord way up here. Okay, so now all of a sudden you saw all the chords I made out of one shape. Okay, with a bar, and it became all of those chords. And there's only 10 shapes for all of your major chords, all of your minor chords, all of your seventh chords, and all of your diminished chords. That's really the main group. All of those can be played with 10 shapes. And so once we get that under, you're like, well, I've got control of this instrument now. And so patience on the bar chords, they will come together. They're super powerful and super helpful. And so we'll keep you moving forward on that. Q asks, foundation starts again on June 1st. Yes, that's true. I'll be there for the practice. I shoulda, coulda, oughta, and didn't do. Q says, probably ought to practice a little bit, right? I don't know necessarily. The main thing I know is with new players, you usually do a bad job practicing, right? You usually practice the wrong thing in the wrong way. And so I'm not a huge practice Nazi. Like a lot of people, that's a terrible word. Practice. I'm not bossy about you practicing. What I am passionate about is you continuing to show up. And guys, as you know, I don't make any money teaching this class. Never have, honestly. This is not the point of this is to get you going in music. Once you get going in music and once you get to a certain level, then yeah, maybe you start taking lessons or whatever. But the business of showing up is the hardest part to do in music, and it will frankly be the difference between you being able to play and not being able to play. If you never practice, but you show up religiously to class, you will be able to play. If you practice and show up to class, obviously you're going to play well, right? And so there's that. So if you have to make a choice between practicing or showing up to class, show up to class. That's and it goes slower. It does help if you sit down and work through this. The more times you get your eyes on the paper, the more it's automatic. Like right now, when I grab a piece of sheet music at any level, no matter what we're doing, I hardly have any concerns because I can glance through the paper and I know exactly how everything's going to look on my instrument. But that's because I've been looking at this kind of paper for many years and every single day, right? And so the more time you just spend looking at the music, doing it, obviously the easier and smoother it gets. But a lot of times we're all adults, right? And so a lot of times you cannot get to time to practice. It's just what happens. Don't lose sleep over it, right? Try to arrange your life where you can do it a little bit more. But the bigger thing is, if you don't practice, you don't practice. Whatever. Keep showing up to class, and magically you're going to get better. I promise it works. Good afternoon, Warren. Good to see you. Warren says, I highly recommend recording yourself as it helps you learn and shows you where your improvements in the piece. Yeah, so there's another tool that I do think Warren is right. Although I want to caution you about this. When you decide, hey, I'm going to record myself, I recommend two things. Number one, just grab your phone, set it up there, play it, and then whatever came out of your ukulele is now in your phone, right? Take that file and save it in your computer somewhere. You may or may not look at it right then and there. You know you made mistakes. There's going to be, when I was applying to go to college, I had to send in 3 videos, and I don't know how many times I played those songs before I finally got them on video correctly. Now it's a different level, right? I'm trying to get into college, so I've got to get those things perfect. But if you're recording for yourself, they do not have to be perfect. They need to just mark your moment in time. So take your phone, stick it up there, play the song into your phone, stop it, save the file somewhere. Your phone will fill up with video pretty fast. And then if you're brave and you want to double check what it looks like and sounds like, go ahead and watch it. But really, just put it in a file, and then go back and look at it 6 months from now. You won't even believe that's the same person playing. You by showing up, your improvement will be vast over the next 6 months. And the only reason I do recommend you record is to give yourself a little bit of your own personal pep talk, like, look how terrible I was back then, right? And so yeah, it's an excellent tool. Next thing, let's talk very briefly about what I think that I taught you. Okay, here's what I think I taught you. I think I taught you how to hold the ukulele properly. Bump, blump, blump, strap, right? I think I taught you that. I hope hopefully your thumb is not up here. Hopefully we never I told you I only have one rule. Your thumb is here. Hopefully I taught you that. Okay. I hope I taught you that you're going to have some shapes over here, and you're going to put some your fingers on certain numbers, and it's going to sound great. And over here, I think I taught you sometimes you strum, sometimes you pluck, sometimes you multiple pluck. Sometimes you do a combination of that. That's at the end of the day, that's the only thing over here is strumming, plucking, and multiple plucking. And we're going to combine all of those into lots of different shapes and ways of thinking about your instrument. I think I taught you to go get the top of the line Snark. I don't get any, they are not a sponsor of mine. Super Tight HZ. I think it's called an ST8 on Amazon. They're $14. This is the single greatest thing. This is why we play ukulele today, is because we can get the ukuleles, as you have figured out, don't stay in tune. They shouldn't stay in tune. If it's staying in tune, it's time to change your strings. So I hope I taught you, go spend the money and get the top of the line tuner. They're amazing and they're wonderful, and they'll save you a ton of time long term. I think that I taught you that you should not have white strings or black strings on your ukulele, that you should have fluorocarbon. And I think I taught you that if you never have to tune your ukulele up, your strings are dead, and that means your ukulele should be a pain, basically. You should always be having to be noodling with this tuning to get it exactly right, because that means the strings are stretching and they're still alive and they're doing their thing. I know, because I play on these things every single day for a couple hours a day on all these instruments. When all of a sudden I pick it up and it's in tune, I'm like, oh, I better check and see when I change those strings. Right? For me, I have to change strings about every 4 months. You should, whether you play or not, will have to change strings at least once a year. If you play every day like I do, you're talking 4 to 6 months that strings you go through them. Okay, so I think I taught you that. I know that I taught you how to play melody on a ukulele. I know that I taught you how to form chords and use your chords on this paper to strum, either with an with a melody player or singing yourself. I know I taught you that music comes in little packets of either 4 beats, either 2 beats, 3 beats, or 4 beats per little thing called a measure, and that inside of there's stuff that's going to happen. I know that I taught you that. I think I taught you how to put those two together. In other words, you're going to hold the chord sorta, mostly, and then you're going to have to adjust that chord to get the tough uke out. Think about the songs we've worked on over the last 30 lessons. Frere Jacques, one note at a time. That's where we started. That's the most important lesson in this entire I have an entire orchestra built off of teaching that one song. So it's super important that you understand that that's not messing around. I have never not taught that lesson to anybody on ukulele. It's that important. And I think if you decide, hey, I want to teach somebody how to play, so I have somebody to play with, start right there. On the website, the Ukulele and Baritone tab, you can start somebody right at the top and just say, do everything. Just go all the way down to the bottom. That's the process you are in. You guys have been through lesson 1 down through lesson 30. Now, underneath that, book 2, for over the next few months, I'm going to take you all the way down to the bottom of that, and then we'll start over again. But that's what I would recommend all players do, is just start at the top of that page and just play everything all the way down. We finally got baritone pieces for virtually everything on there. A couple of outliers, but I'll get those done here. It's just a very straightforward program. I will also tell you, and I know this for sure, if you end up teaching somebody else, that everything in this program I've been teaching for many years now in various orders, and nothing is there that isn't important, and everything is in order of the way I like to do it, because I think everything builds off of each other until you get down to today, where you're playing Scarborough Fair, Aloha Oi, maybe, right, in some form or a fashion, and it's been built off of Daisy Bell, Carnival of Venice, Home on the Range, Happy Birthday, going all the way back down to the next two most important song in our in this program is Spaghetti Monster. Okay, and that goes all the way back to lesson 13, which wasn't that long ago, guys. And so I would say Frere Jacques leads to Spaghetti Monster, and then everything else is just practice. New weird shapes and stuff. How I would be thinking about the future as you're going ahead is next week, this class vanishes for a couple weeks, and that's okay, right? You guys are smart. You know how to you don't have to have this class to keep yourself playing ukulele. Come next week starting at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Denver time, to the Tough U class. Okay, we're working on straight line melodies in there. We're working on, here's the melody, here's the chords. Now you create your own Tough Uke arrangement. And so you for sure can play the melodies. There's no problem there. You for sure will be able to play the chords. So automatically you're going to be just fine, whether you decide to go through the process. And honestly, guys, a lot of people that come to that class, they're trying to decide if they want to do that kind of work as well. So it's a new idea that I'm teaching. And I've taught lead sheets before, but not at this depth, and it's what we're going to do all summer, so it would be tremendous to have you in that. The other reason to come to the 4 o'clock class starting next week and the week after is that on June 1st I'm starting a new round of foundation classes, and they will be at 4 o'clock, right? So one way or another you're going to be at 4 o'clock going forward, and I know for some of you that runs into Jeopardy time and all of this stuff, but you also know that we have the video archive. It's one of the tabs on the website. Just go listen. If you can't come to class, go listen to the video archive and keep up that way. I will. The main thing I worry about when we get to the end of this is people will be like, well, I think I'll start working on my own, and that will be the end of you playing ukulele. I almost can guarantee it. I've had almost nobody call me up after several years being away and say, you know what, I didn't practice. I've kind of forgot what I'm doing. I need to take a class again. Mostly people just vanish, right? But I know what's really happening is they thought, well, I'll just play on my own now, and they don't, right? So you put a lot of work into this. You're playing at a high level. Probably want to keep going. Easiest way to do that, just keep showing up. Let's see. So that's the schedule going forward. And then obviously here's a moment, I would not be overly critical of my success. If you are playing at all, like if you know what you're supposed to do here, if you look at the paper and you're like, yep, I know what I'm supposed to do, and then you struggle to get it out, that's normal. That's not you failing. You have watched me play long enough to know that some days I struggle to get stuff out. So please, make sure that you are giving yourself lots of permission to fail, that mistakes aren't a thing. They just don't exist in music. It's just how you played it at that moment. And so give yourself lots of opportunity to be brave and come into the next level and all that stuff. All right, so that's where I'm going to leave it at. And guys, if you have questions or comments, obviously toss them in chat. Otherwise, you're free to head off into the darkness and become the best ukulele in your city. Starting next week, think about 4 p.m. if that works out for you. And also tell your friends, right, what you're doing so that they can come and be a part of it as well. Let's see. Mary says, thank you for everything so far, Gary. I'll be checking in once I get settled in. Yeah, obviously. If you're moving to New York, you might miss a couple. We shouldn't, because, you got internet everywhere you go. So you should pull off on the side of the road and, watch it on your phone. As of now, I don't have the digs figured out, but I have a temporary place. Good. Okay. So Mary is... got some life changes coming. That'll happen, right? You guys know how that works. Valerie says, so glad to be here, just back from the cell phone store. Fell down. Oh no, fell down the You fell down the stairs? Oh my, Valerie, that's terrible. I'm so when you're going down, I've fallen down enough stairs to know that you should make that the main thing when you're going downstairs is to really focus, because it really does hurt. I'm glad you landed on your cell phone and say broke your fall, Valerie. That's really sad. I hope you're doing okay. Right? Don't care about your phone. Do care about you, Rob. That's great. It's a good Rob. That's a good phone. That's a good phone. You might want, yeah. Well, seriously, the amount of time we spend on these phones, they ought to protect our lives, right, Warren? Thanks, Warren. Appreciate that. Michelle, see you back at the 4 o'clock class next week. Have a wonderful week, and thank you, Gary. Great foundation. See you next week. I'm loving playing the uke. I want to get better, guys. I know. Here's the biggest. One last thing, and then I'll let you go. This style of play is hard to find. There are 3 of us on the planet that are very committed to putting out sheet music like this. I'm aware of a guy in Germany and a guy in Ireland. Okay, the rest of the stuff you're going to find out there doesn't stack up to this probably, and the free stuff on the internet is usually junk. So just keep coming around. I'll keep you fed with new music and good music and well done arrangements. It's what I'm passionate about, and so yeah, keep coming around, and I will get you better. We have so much great music on the website already. I intend to triple it over the next year, and so we're going to end up with a really, really fine amount of. We're going to be the destination for playing chord melody arrangements, if we're not already. No. So there you go, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see some of you next hour. I'll see the rest of you on Monday, hopefully, and hopefully you can work out your schedule to make it in at that time slot. Send me an email, obviously, if you can't, and keep in contact with me one way or another, and we'll keep you moving forward. So thanks for being here, Rob. Enjoyed the class. I'll see you soon, Rob. And Q, how did fingerstyle start? It's always been a thing. It's always been a thing. All the way back, classical guitar is fingerstyle. It is fingerstyle. They write the sheet music out weird, but the classical guitar is fingerstyle. Yeah, so they started calling it fingerstyle to separate it from classical. Classical has its own repertoire. In fingerstyle, we tend to take popular, more well-known songs and arrange them as if they're classical music. And there's a few other nuances to fingerstyle, but yeah, it started with guitar way back when guitar was brand new. People would use it. Just pick it this way, coming right out of classical guitar. So yeah, and then not very many people were doing it with ukulele when I started this. I do see more and more people are starting to put some videos on YouTube that are actually worth watching, that they're doing, some kind of interesting stuff. So we're finally, after 20 years, getting some ukulele players up and running, and they're doing amazing things. And so yeah, it's exciting times for the ukulele. All right, guys, I will see all of you all on Monday. Warren, thanks for being here. Q, Bob, Robert, Jan, who else? Michelle. I'm going to miss somebody. Valerie, I can't believe you fell down the stairs. Mary, who else did I miss? I think that might have been everybody. Oh, and Linda, of course, checked in. All right, and anybody else who's out there, if you're logged into YouTube or logged into Gmail, you can hit the thumbs up button because this is awesome, and I appreciate that. And if you're not, it's good to have you here as well, and I will see all of you next week. Peace.